What's good, nerds? Welcome to another It Stinks movie review. I am the critical crackhead because drinking is for pussies. Just kidding. I got one right here. Fucking, it's ma'am now. I'm drinking Bud Light. Actually, it's not ma'am, it's madam. Madam Web is the film that I'm here to complain about. And look, I know everybody in the world has already complained about this movie. I'm far from the first. I'm probably the last motherfucker to hump this particular dead horse, right? I feel like the last guy in a very long line of Japanese dudes at a bukkake, right? And I'm just wondering how the hell I got to be like the caboose on this motherfucking train. But look, it is what it is. I didn't really want to pay to see this movie, so I had to wait until it was on a streaming service that I pay for, and since I hate streaming services, I only pay for Netflix. So, I had to wait. I had to be patient, but patience is key, and patience is a virtue. So, I am sensitive to the fact that this is probably the millionth YouTube video complaining about Madam Web. I don't want to just complain about the same old shit everybody else has talked about, like the awful dialogue or the insane plot. So I am going to try to only say good things about Madam Web in this review. I'm going to try to only say complimentary things. I'm going to only say nice things. Okay. I want to be more positive in my life anyway, right? I'm drinking a Bud Light. Actually, that's not why. My father in law loves Bud Light. I got him in the fridge. What do you want from me? There's not a picture of my face on it or anything. I still got my balls. So the first nice thing that I want to say about Madam Web is that at about 12 minutes and 10 seconds into the film, it features a morbidly obese cat being fat shamed by our main character lady, the one that's Dakota Fanning or Dakota Manning or I don't know, Dakota something, Dakota Jackson. I don't know what her name is. The main actress lady who plays the Madam Web, I guess. I guess she's Madam Web. The whole thing's kind of confusing. But this cat that wanders into her apartment from the window or whatever, I don't know if it's her cat or if it's a neighbor's cat that she's on friendly terms with, but the cat itself is so comically fat um, that I actually thought it was CG. I thought they actually used computer animation to make the cat appear more obese than what was actually physiologically possible for a feline. I was waiting for this cat. This cat was so fat. I was waiting for it to like turn to the camera and start screaming about living in a van down by the river. Then the main character lady, right? This is the part that was just so awesome. The main character lady, the Dakota, whatever her name is, lady, feeds the cat some milk, and immediately she starts fat shaming this poor feline. Like this cat starts lapping up the milk that she gave it, and the main character lady is like, "Oh, someone's hungry." Imagine saying that shit to anybody besides a cat.
Hey girl, you hungry?
Fuck you, nigga.
Might I add that the main character lady is incredibly skinny. No booty on this broad whatsoever. So I love that like old pancake ass here is immediately telling us that Madam Web is not a body positive movie. There is a beauty standard in this film. It's set in 2003 after all. And that beauty standard is being a 115-pound French Canadian broad with perfect cheekbones and an exquisite jawline. And it doesn't stop at fat shaming house pets. Let's continue to talk about what a
cock juggling thunder cunt
the main character lady proceeds to be. She goes to Peter Parker's mom's baby shower, which sounds like a joke from Spaceballs, actually. She goes to Peter Parker's mom's baby shower because they have to ham-fistedly shoehorn in Spider-Man, because this is like a Spider-Man family of superhero people. So like Peter Parker has to be tangentially referred to. Ben Parker has to be like a pretty major side character in this movie, but it's all like pretty pointless. It's just to say, hey, remember this movie is related to Spider-Man. So the ladies are all at this baby shower, and Peter Parker's mom is like really super pregnant. She's like very obviously pregnant. Emma Roberts, by the way, even pregnant, it works for me. In fact, I might like it better. But they're sharing, all the girls at the baby shower are sharing these slips of paper with memories of their mothers on them. Um, and then Peter Parker's mom pulls out like a blank slip and she's like, well, this is blank. Like, what's up with that? And then let's talk about this absolute piece of human trash Sony expects me to accept as a protagonist. Old pancake butt proceeds to claim the blank slip and is all like, yeah, I don't have any memories with my mom because my mom died in childbirth with me, and proceeds to just shit all over this poor woman's baby shower by reminding her and everybody else that they all have like this mom privilege, while simultaneously making Peter Parker's mom's baby shower like all about her all of a sudden. It's like, yeah, it's Peter Parker's mom's special day because she's going to have a kid in a month. But like, hey, wait a minute. I don't have a mom, and everybody fucking pay attention to me, even though this is not my fucking party. I shouldn't have been fucking invited, but I happen to be a coworker and close friend of Ben Parker. So anyway, the whole thing is bullshit. It's That's Peter Parker's mom's day, dude. And this bitch just turns everyone's focus on her. Like, look at me, look at me. I'm the one with the perfect cheeks and the jawline. And Don Johnson was my fucking dad or whatever. Don Johnson fucked my mom. My mom got fucked on the set of Miami Vice. Everybody look at me. At this point, I can't wait for old pancake butt to get crippled. I mean, I know what's happening in the end. Spoiler alert. She gets fucking crippled. She gets everything she deserves, but not even a little bit more. And to everyone's credit at this baby shower, they just kind of like move on amicably. They're like, yeah, it's awkward, but let's move on to the next game now. You know, like, oh, pancake butt always says the silliest stuff and complains about her childhood in the foster care system and how she was molested at all the weirdest times. You know, Christmas morning, oh, you fucking, I got the shit beat out of me by my third foster dad. Anyway, they all move on. Everybody at this party moves on amicably. I guess they got the Bud Light flowing, except for the pregnant lady. Instead of like curb stomping old pancake butt, because I'm like, bruh, like come around my neighborhood talking that shit. You're gonna go meet your fucking mama, and you can cry to her in the afterlife. I don't give one fuck. You're gonna get curb stomped coming to my fucking wife's baby shower and talking about how like, oh, I don't have a mom. Guess what, motherfucker? You ain't gonna have teeth either if you keep fucking playing this shit. All right, you ain't gonna have teeth either. I'm gonna fucking break my foot off in your skinny pancake ass. No ass having, guess what? I'm gonna find your butthole somewhere in there. I'm gonna break my whole fucking foot off in that ass if you fucking come around my place crying about your fucking dead mama that you ain't never met. Shit. I need a sip after that. Ooh, so look, the main character, Broad Pancake Booty, spends the first act just being basically an irredeemable piece of shit.
Your soul is dog shit. Every single fucking thing about you is ugly.
This movie also sucks pretty hard. I forget about saying nice things only about this movie. I can't. I tried, guys. I tried at the beginning for the first several minutes. I tried. This movie sucks big old dicks for making Sydney Sweeney's boobs look small. And this is not just, it hurts me personally. This hurts Sony's bottom line. Let me tell you why. This is what she looks like in Madam Web.
Ha! Gay!
This film has assets, right? There are assets to this film, but it hides them away. Does this make any sense? Am I crazy or is Sony crazy? Because I feel like I'm spitting facts. Do you know what sells tickets, movie tickets? When you want people to go see your movie, if you're Sony and you want to make $1 billion off a fucking superhero movie, do you want to know what sells the tickets? I can think of two things that would sell some fucking tickets right now. I can think of those two things just off the top of my head. I'm not out there doing market research. I'm going with my gut. My hunch says there's two things that I can think of right now. Get the fucking tops off, you numbskulls. You'd have sold way more tickets. Get the tops off, way more tickets, right? Bra and panties, at least two scenes, bra and panties for 5 minutes, and you would have made $1 billion easily. I already told you guys, if you go back and watch my Oppenheimer video, my review of Oppenheimer, I laid out very clearly a plan for which Oppenheimer would have beat Barbie and made $2 billion. Okay, my track record is impeccable. My advice is ironclad. There's no defeating this advice. Sydney Sweeney walking around in bra and underwear for 5 minutes of the movie in 2 different scenes. You'd have made $1 billion. You put a quick shot of that in a trailer, everybody under the age of fucking 82 is going to show up. I promise you. I mean, you might not like it. Dear viewer out there watching, hearing my words right now, I love you. You might not like it, but boobs move units, period. It's a scientific fact.
Gay fact.
Einstein proved it, okay? It's just fucking physics at this point. And by that, I mean selling tickets, not making like my unit move, like penises, like making people's penises move. But that's probably true too. It's just an irrefutable fact that Sony is dropping the ball by benching their star players here, right? For no reason whatsoever. It's unfathomable. It's inexcusable. And they deserve to lose money for fucking with us like that, casting Sydney Sweeney and then making her look like this. What the fuck? I mean, should I just leave this here for the rest of the video? You guys comment to your thirst down below, right? Don't be ashamed, you heathens. Tell me what you like down below. You like it? I'll just leave it up. Doesn't matter what I'm talking about. I'm going to keep her boobs up because I'm proving my point. Sex sells. Speaking of teenagers, the teenage characters in this movie were almost as thoroughly unlikable as the main character lady, the pancake butt, her little like surrogate kiddos. Also, no diner in the entire fucking world is going to allow girls to dance on their tables. It's not a fucking club. They're responsible for food service. These dumb broads are wearing shoes on a surface that food is served on. This would be a huge violation. This place would lose their food service license, not to mention the liability. These are 3 teenage girls. They're like pretty much adult sized in terms of their body mass. Girls dancing on a diner table. Conservatively, let's say they're like 100 pounds each. That's a 300-pound load on a small diner table with just one little, peg in the middle holding that thing up. That thing is going to break. Those girls are going to fall. That diner is going to get fucking sued. That diner manager would have yanked them all down by their hair and kicked them out of that restaurant, not stood by idly with his hands down his pants while these 3 idiots ruin his business. That whole scene was just the weirdest fucking thing. I don't know why they put that in there, but it was off-putting and it upset me. And all during that scene, Sydney Sweeney was still dressed like a fucking nun in a convent. Also, our main character, Pancake Butt, she's supposed to be like some kind of fugitive for like the whole latter, like, I don't know, 2/3 of this movie. But how the fuck does she travel to Peru? Like, you need a passport and shit for international travel. She just like waltzes in and out of the country for like a little convenient backstory and a little explanation of her power set. She just has to go to Peru. Like, I don't know. It's like going to Lake Winnipesaukee for the weekend. She just gets on a plane and goes to Peru. Only I'm not wanted by the FBI, right? I don't have to scan a passport. This broad had to scan a passport. It's 2003. It's a post 9/11. She takes a post 9/11 flight to Peru as a wanted fugitive and just, yeah, no problem. No problemo. Just go to the airport, get checked in with TSA. They're going to scan your passport so you can fly internationally to Peru, where you're apparently from, with no explanation of how you became a New York denizen after being born and orphaned in the jungles of Peru. The film makes no fucking sense, but not even in a good way. I just got to wonder, are movies just funnels for money laundering at this point? I mean, were they just like, we got to wash $150 million and we're going to make a shitty movie to do so? And we're just, who cares if it makes any money? Who cares if it makes sense? Who cares if it's any good? We just need to launder some money. They could have done so much better than this. It feels like they're not even trying. This movie is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in a bad way. It feels like a generic, like Temu knockoff Spider-Man, since these guys all get their powers from spiders, but it's like not the same spider as the spider that bit Spider-Man. It's like different spiders, but it's like all spiders are kind of magical in this weird fictional universe. And the bad guy has a suit kind of like Spider-Man, looks a lot like Spider-Man, especially like the black suit from the Raimi days. Like, it looks a lot like a Spider-Man suit. I don't know why the guy has a suit that looks a lot like the Spider-Man suit 20 fucking years before Spider-Man becomes Spider-Man. But, it is what it is. They just have to keep that tenuous connection in here so they could sell this as like a spider-verse movie. Not that anyone gave a fuck, Because if people gave a fuck about Spider-Verse movies, people would have fucking showed up to see Madam Web, and they would have fucking showed up to see Let There Be Carnage or fucking Morbius or whatever. When it was Morbin time, if people gave a fuck about Spider-Man universe movies, when it was Morbin time, people would have fucking morbed like a motherfucker outside the theater. There is room in the world for bad movies. I firmly believe that. There might actually be as much room for bad movies as there is for good movies, actually. But the thing is, the bad movies still have to be enjoyable. Remember, guys, the first rule of shit happens when you party naked is bad is forgivable, boring never is, okay? You can be bad as long as you're having fun. Spending $100 million to produce and another who knows how much to market a movie that is this aggressively dull is just, I don't know what these people are thinking. I'm not a movie executive. I've never made a film. I don't know the first fucking thing. All right, but I know this much. Get them titties out and let's have some explosions. This film is populated with thoroughly unlikable characters. They all suck. They're all just miserable jackasses and idiots that make stupid decisions that you don't want to have. You don't want to spend time with these people. Think of all the great movie characters. Even if they're bad guys, you kind of would like to spend some time with them. You'd like to have dinner or coffee with them and like have a conversation with them. I mean, shit, even Hannibal Lecter is kind of likable in his way and he'll bite your fucking face off. And you'd rather have dinner with him than fucking pancake butt over here so she could cry about her fucking mama died when she was 2 minutes old or some dumb shit like that. I would rather eat with the guy that might actually have my face for dessert. I don't give a shit. At least like the terrible B movie horror films of the 80s had like the good sense to creatively murder their unlikable characters. They murdered their likable characters too. I mean, there was no getting around that, but you could build up a really unlikable character only to have them like get fucking stabbed from the back of their throat slash or something. Also, those B movie 80s horror films almost invariably had the good sense to include some topless scenes. They weren't making high art. They knew it. We knew it. We didn't give a fuck. We weren't lining up for high art. This isn't the fucking MoMA, right? We're not here for fucking Rembrandt. I'm not here to see fucking 20th century fucking Art Deco modern shit on a fucking, no. Sony's not making high art either. This is a fucking stupid ass comic book movie. They need to come back with better action. The firework that like hit that brick wall, made like a person-sized oval hole in the brick wall, was one of the dumbest things I've fucking seen, and not in a good way. Because it's not like the movie was funny up to that point, but that one instance was laughable. They also need to remember that sex sells. I've mentioned it a few times during this video, but it's egregious. You guys need to remember there's a reason people went to go see these B-movie horror films back in the day, and that was because you're going to see a couple of boobies, and I'm sorry, but like 15-year-old boys buy movie theater tickets. It's just it. I'm not saying it has to include like full frontal nudity or like hardcore like penetration or whatever, because we got the internet for that. But what I am saying is like, a couple bra and panty scenes, let her wrap herself up with a towel and then run around the apartment while the killer chases her for a minute. I'm not saying anything that's unknown. I'm not a genius. I'm just a guy who kept his fucking eyes open during the last couple of decades of movie watching. You might regard this fact as crude and boorish, or maybe even like exploitative and toxic, but it's still a fact. It's an ugly fact, but it's a fact. There are 4 attractive young women actors in this film, 5 if you count Emma Roberts, and I do. Yes. And they all, for all these attractive women that they have, that they've cast in this film, they only wear superhero, like tight-fitting, like spandex superhero suits for about 60 seconds of screen time. No exaggeration. That's not me being hyperbolic. It's about 60 seconds of screen time. You get to see these attractive young women actually, wearing stuff you'd like to see them wearing. The short dude bad guy is the only person who wears a costume in this movie, and he's not sexy. He's like 5'7" and skinny fat. The most enjoyable part of this movie was pausing it to Google Sydney Sweeney for these pics that I've been showing. The second most enjoyable part of this movie was watching old pancake butt get crippled at the end. That was enjoyable. But then even that was ruined when she goes like wheeling around her weirdo apartment like a retarded Professor X, smiling like a goddamn serial killer and wearing sunglasses that somehow look worse than just letting everybody see her gross zombie eyes. Um, Y'all, in closing, I know I said I was going to only try to say good things about this movie.
I lied.
Clearly. So now I'm going to go watch Euphoria. Those people who know, if you know, you know, those people making Euphoria, they know what to do when you cast Sydney Sweeney. Okay. Madam Web is garbage. It's trash. Ma'am, it's Ma'am Web. My best advice is don't watch it. And my second best advice is to stop watching it as early as possible in the film. This movie fucking stinks, but you don't. If you're hearing these words, if you've watched this far, I love you. And I'm going to kiss you in the face. And we can drink a Bud Light together and make homosexual love. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. Oh, this fucking Bud Light is so bad. It's not good beer.